For NA Revision Checklist Part 3. Now, in this part of our lesson, we'll be doing a little bit more on practical situations involving money, percentages, transactions, or practical situation graphs. Alright, so for the first question, two different banks offer the following interest for their customers. For the Nash Bank, it's 4.6% per year simple interest, while for Star Bank, it's 4.4% per year compounded interest. So before we begin, let us recall a little bit of the formula. For simple interest, interest equals to PRT over 100. Okay, this one starts with interest, but for compound interest, this one starts with total amount equals to P bracket 1 plus R over 100 to the power of N. And if this is compounded by year, then everything will be change according to years. Okay, now this person wish to save $6,000. That is your principal amount, P. And then your time period is 5 years. Okay, so now which bank should he choose? So what do we need to show? We need to show two workings. Number one, for under Nash Bank. Okay, let us calculate the amount of money or interest that he may get. So it's totally up to you. So if you calculate the total interest, that will be the principal amount times the interest rate times time, 5 years, over 100. And this will give you 1380. But take note, this is only just the interest. Okay, while for Star Bank, if you were to calculate this formula using compound interest, that will start with the total amount. And that will be the principal, which is $6,000. 1 plus the interest is 4.4% and 5 years. So this will give me 7,441.38 in decimal place, 2 dp. But then I can't compare the amount directly because one is interest. This one is on interest, this one is on total amount. So what I can do is I need to either find the all interest or all total amount. In this case, I find it easier to find the total amount for simple interest. So for the total amount, I'll take 1380 plus 6,000. If you want to find the interest for the Star Bank, then you need to take that amount, subtract away 6,000. So this one will give you 7380. So after you compare these two, which bank should he choose? Since this amount is greater than this amount, he should choose Star Bank. Okay, so please do write a statement with the evidence given. Alright, have you gotten your answer? Okay, next question. Question number 2. Now this person invested some money in a savings account for 3 years. The rate of compound fixed interest was at 4% per annum. So everything is in terms of 4% per year. Okay, at the end of 3 years, there was a total of this amount. So this number here is not the interest, but this number here is at the end of 3 years. So this is total amount in her account. Okay, so they didn't ask me what I want to find. Okay, I think probably the question actually supposed to ask what is the amount of money that she has invested. Okay, so please add in the following statement into the question. So now if I want to find the total amount of money invested, that will be the original amount, the P, the principal. And now I'm given the total amount. So using our compound interest rate formula, total amount is equals to P bracket 1 plus R over 100 to the power of N, the number of times or the number of years. So since the total amount is 8436.48, the total amount P I do not know. 1 plus R, or the interest rate, is 4% per annum for 3 years. So I'm able to calculate this whole portion over here. So using my calculator, I get a value of, that number already became 1.1249. So this whole thing times P. So what I need to do now is to undo this. This is a multiplication over here, so I do a division. So after I do a division and then I get the number 7499.76. So this will be amount of money in two decimal places. Have you gotten the answer? Next question, question number 3. Now question number 3 actually is on a question on hire purchase. So in order to do a hire purchase, you need to understand that usually there will be a initial down payment or deposit, and then after that you have something called a monthly installment. Okay, now in this case, air conditioned unit costs $1,000, so this is your original price. It can be purchased by either cash or hire purchase. If you purchase by cash, they give you a 5% cash discount. If I paid a 5%, if I get a 5% cash discount, how much have I paid? I'm only left with 95%. Alright, now the other case is that I need to pay for a hire purchase. I pay at $200 initial deposit, and then after that 12 monthly installments of $90. So find the amount of the customer have to pay under cash payment. So amount cash payment, that means will be 95% of $1,000, and that will give you, should be 950. $950. The other one, for hire purchase, I pay the total amount is given by taking the deposit $200 plus 12 months installment of $90. So 12 times 90 plus 200, and that gives me $1,280. So these are the two different prices. Have you gotten your answer? Okay, question number 4. Now question number 4 is a graph in practical situation. So where you need to use information to draw some things and then plot some numbers given to you. Okay, so now we look at the table over here. Not table, but the question. They say that Hafiz changed 140 Singapore dollars into euro. He received 98. So this is actually a pair of information that I need to plot and represent it on the grid below. Now let's check. This is the axis on Singapore dollars, and that is 140. So at 140, okay, I have Singapore dollars, while in euro dollars, this is the one in euro dollars, is 98. So somewhere around here. We probably need to, okay, let me zoom in a little bit more so that we can draw this correctly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 squares to represent 10 units. So each square represents 2 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, correct. So each square represents 2 units. I want to have 140. 140 is down here. And then 98. 98 will be down here. So I need to plot a point. Okay, oh yeah, in pencil, sorry. 98 and 140 represent this information, and then I draw a graph. What does that mean? When it's at $0 I did not change anything, it will be 0. So it will be 0 0 to and passes through this point. Now using a ruler, I shall draw from the point 0 0 over here to the point 140 and $98 euro. So use these 2 points and draw a line. So the question next one says, using your graph, use the graph. Okay, oh sorry. Use this graph, so I need to use this graph over here to convert 60 euro dollars. So I'm going to convert 60 euro dollars into Singapore dollars. So 60 euro dollars, euro is on this axis, so 60 euro is here. I'll be drawing my line. So let me draw, right is a dotted line, and then I'll draw down. Okay, 1 square represents 2 units, so it's about approximately $86 from what I can read from my graph. So it will be 86 SGD. Next one, convert $110 Sing dollars to euro. So from our Sing dollar axis 110, then I will convert 0.10 is here. Okay, the number's not very nice, so it's in the middle. Okay, so this is approximately $77, 77 euro dollars approximately, because it's supposed to be in the middle of the square, but then different people will read different answers, so I'll just put approximately 77 euro dollars. Then 150 to euro. Oh, I should have drawn my line a bit longer, right? Okay, never mind. 150 here, so 150 is all the way here. And then I get the answer approximately $104 euro dollars. Okay, then part B, using your graph or otherwise convert $2,000. My axis doesn't have any to $2,000, so what does this tells me? So I'm not able to use my graph in this case, but I do know that what they have told me, 140 part B, 140 SGD dollars is equivalent to 98 euro dollars. So now I'm going to convert 2,000. So 2,000 divided by 140 times 98. And that gives me 1,400 euro dollars. So this is B part 1. Part 2, 40,000 euros to dollars. So I will have same thing, $140 to 98 euros. Now they want 40,000 euro. So I'll take 40,000 divided by 8 times 140, and that gives me the answer. Oh, this one is money, dollars and cents, so I will have to write it in terms of 5714.86, 2 decimal places. Have you gotten your answer? Yeah. Okay, now this question number 5 is a tiered charge. So for example, in this case, we are talking about a taxi driver charges where there is a fixed charge to begin with. What do you mean by a fixed charge? Meaning, even before I begin, that means once I board the taxi, I will have a fixed charge. So if I were to have a fixed charge, let's look at our graph of fixed charge. When it's at 0 distance, I already pay a certain amount of money. So are you able to calculate what is this fixed charge from the graph itself? Well, you can read from here, this is quite obvious, $4 is the fixed charge. So I have read actually the first number. This is actually fixed charge is $4. Okay, after that, then they tell me it's 50 cents per kilometer. Now when you see this is actually talking about the rate, so it's talking about money per kilometer. Okay, for the first 20 kilometers. So for axis, for the first 0 to 20, you notice this one has a particular gradient. Now what is the gradient? The gradient is actually the y over the x, which is the y is dollars over the x is kilometer, which is dollars over kilometer, dollars over kilometer. So in this case, this tells me that the 50 cents here, which is 0.5, is actually my gradient. So the gradient is actually the rate, which is 0.5 dollars, $0.5 per kilometer. Okay, so next one, then they say 20 cents per kilometer. So now they tell me 20 cents per kilometer for extra distance over. So from distances that are 20 to 50 over, okay, the gradient for this part of the line, so the gradient, okay, will be 20 cents per kilometer. What does this mean? Now there is a particular point to consider. The first one over here, I will have this point 20, and what is the price over here? This is $14, 2014. And then to another particular point, I do not know where, but then the gradient is 0.20. So let's try to use this data and then plug in to find the values of P and Q. So it tells me fixed charge 8, the distance is 0, $4. And then after that, 10 kilometers I travel 50 cents times 10, so $5, increase. But then you notice after the 20 kilometer mark, this does not increase by $5, really increase by $2. So what we are going to do here is from this is 4, this one is here is plus 5 until I reach 20. Then from 20 onwards to go to 30, each kilometer is 20 cents, so 10 kilometers will be $2. So it will be plus 2, and then plus 2. So that means my value for P will be 16 plus 2, P is $18, and Q will be 18 plus 2, $20. Now complete the graph below to show the charges. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mark in pencil all the different values that they have. Then they tell me 2014 already I have. Then 30 is 16, $30, 30 kilometer is 16. Then 40 is 18, 15, 1, 2. Then after that 50 is 20. And then for this portion here, you have a different gradient, right? So we're going to draw a straight line that passes through these few points. And now we have completed the graph for part B. Now using this, I'm going to find the fixed charge. Well, obviously I've already found the fixed charge. The fixed charge is $4. Sorry. Okay, then the charge to travel for 13 kilometers. So to travel 13 kilometers, the fixed charge is $4 plus 13 kilometers times 0.5 per kilometer. That will give me $10.50. Next one, part 2-3. Find the distance traveled if the charge is $19. There are a couple of ways to do this answer. Either I can use my graph to find what's the value when it's $19. Okay, to find the distance where it's $19. But then I'm afraid that my graph may not be very accurate, so I shall teach you how to do the calculation. Now for $19, we check. This one here, 20 kilometers mark, is already $14. So for the first 20 distance, right, I will have $14. That means my extra $5 is for the next cover length of distance. So for the $19, I need to know for the first 20 kilometers, I already paid $14. So what does that mean? That tells me I'm remaining $5, and this $5 can be found by taking 0.2 times 20 cents divided by 8 times a certain amount of distance. So what is this amount of distance? The distance covered will be $5 divided by 0.2. So 5 divided by 0.2, that gives me 25 kilometers. So I've traveled an extra 25 kilometers. So if that's the case, what is the total distance that I have traveled? 20 plus 25, that will give me a total distance of 45 kilometers. Have you gotten the answer? Okay, we have come to the end of this part of the checklist first. Now, these few parts are all on practical situations involving graphs and calculating of percentages and money. Okay, but the next few questions we are going to cover will be a little bit more complicated about reading tables. So I'll continue that in a different lesson. I'll see you for the next lesson.